Good morning, Rabbi Isa. How's everybody doing? What is it? It's Chol Moed today.
First day Yom
It's Matzah Yontif. No, it's not Matzah Yontif. It's the first
Sunday.
day of Chol Moed.
It's Sunday morning.
It's Sunday morning.
Second day Yom
We got to get our mindset here.
Second day Chatzah.
We happen to be in Eretz Yisrael, first day Chol Moed, but in reality, we are in Chicago, live in Chicago, 11:15 in the morning, Erev Yontif. We had a wild night last night. We had 2 shiurim. The second one ended at 1 a.m. It was amazing, the sacrifice. Mamish, the sacrifice that it's actually the same people that are here this morning were here until 1. When did we finish last night? 1:15 in the morning. I have to tell you also, I just realized, as a Magichir, there's also a little sacrifice. I'm not going to go into all the sacrifice, but one thing that really bothered me is I bought a brand new suit for Yom Tov. I left most of my stuff in Eretz Yisrael. I was all excited. I found a great suit, and I was supposed to pick it up yesterday. I had to make a last-minute decision not to pick up the suit, not to do the shatnas. It was tailored and everything, but I just didn't have the time. I ran out of time. So this Yom Tov, no new suit, and there's a couple of other things I need to talk to Yosef about. More important than a suit, but I'm not going to mention it here live. Shkoyach Yol for the water. All right. No, that's okay. Right over there is fine. Shkoyach, thanks. As I was leaving home, I read an email. And because of this email, I went back upstairs, reconnected the computer, and printed it out. We have a tremendous chos to have. By the way, Yosef, this doesn't look straight, so maybe you straighten out the YouTube a little bit better. It's important. It should be exactly straight. You might have to readjust the bottom. There's like a screw over there. Yeah.
I see.
We have a tremendous chos of having Rabbi Yaakov Schoenberg in our shir. He's a senior in our shir. He's a kohen, has a tremendous hadras panim, a long beard. He's a big Talmid Chacham. He was there from day one. I should say from day 2. He claims he was actually listening by the door day 1. Fine, Lo Mishana. He's there from day 1, and he adds a tremendous amount to the shir. And yesterday I said that I tend to learn quietly, and I was hoping that somebody could come up with, I shouldn't be over what the Gemara says of learning. So he wrote me a very nice, beautiful email. I have to read some of it here. With regard to learning out loud, I can sympathize with you, as I also tend to learn quietly. However, I think one can justify it somewhat. Okay, so he's Negeh B'Davar. Right away, he's Negeh B'Davar. So I don't know if we could trust him 100%, but it's beautiful what he says. Because the main discussion relates to the time when all Gemara learning is by heart, and repeating aloud helps memorize the text. If one hears the text from one's teacher and does not memorize it, it is lost when you don't have your teacher, and that would be a disaster. Nowadays, when we have the printed Gemara in front of us, memorizing does not have the same importance. Although Chazor is still very important for the proper understanding of the Gemara. I believe that as the link in the concept of Simonim are very strange. As a something thing that would be more difficult to memorize an unconnected sequence of strange words. Then we need to memorize a series of actual phrases from the Gemara. So why is it memory? He's asking, why do we have simanim, funny words? And he says a beautiful idea. I think the answer is that although it was forbidden to write down the text of the Gemara, it was permitted to write notes, which were not the actual text. It's very true. And we had that before, that people had their notebooks, they wrote different things that they were going to forget. But definitely simanim. But the system of simanim allowed people to remind themselves of the text of written simanim. Now that we have printed text of the Gemara, the simanim are no longer needed for that purpose. So in our day and age, he's saying simanim are strange. In that day when you weren't able to say the Gemara, you weren't able to write down the Gemara, simanim made a lot of sense. Shir is Lili Nishmas Imi Merosi Ruspas Mordechai, and Lili Nishmas Harav Avram Chaim Tanzer, who's just nifter in South Africa. He was a rabbi in South Africa for more than 50 years. Big loss in South Africa. Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshiva College passed away on Motzei Yom Kippur. Unreal. All right. Chaim Kanievsky, for Chaim Kanievsky and Donald Trump, who both have COVID. Omar, no, we are holding Daf Nun Vov Amud Aleph. What's amazing is, people might consider this a complicated, or one of the more complicated sugyas in Eruvin. But with all the pictures and everything, I think, and we'll dumb it down a lot, not because I'm dumbing it down, just because I'm dumb and I don't understand the depths of it. So I think it'll be pretty simple. Omer Rav Yehuda Rav. Well, we're not there yet. I'll let you know when we get there. We're talking about, it's going to be a sugya of kufos and mazoles, but really a very, very simple concept, simple ideas. Omer Rav Yehuda, let me lower this. Okay. Maybe I'll unmute it, I'll make it much lower, and if somebody actually has a question or something, since it's a small olam, don't be shy, you can ask questions today. Yoel, please don't lean on the table because it shakes the camera. Thank you, Yoel. Yoel, sit down over there, please. Right over there, it's good.
I just was helping him.
Yeah, I know, yeah, it's good, but over there is better. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, Kol ir sheyesh bo ma'alos u'marados, any city that has steep hills like in Muncie, Adam u'behema sheba mesim b'chatzi yemeim. So this is again going against what we understand today. Yesterday we finished off. We think salad is healthy. The Gemara said salad is not healthy. We think whole wheat is healthy. We also think that a lot of exercise up and down hills is good for us. The Gemara tells us that a person who goes up and down hills dies at half of his life. Mason Sokadaibach, he actually dies. It makes a person age a lot quicker. These hills that you have in Beirut and Narash, they cause me to age premature. Torah So you have a city that's square, you square it out. Now, you don't need to square it out. If you have a square, you don't need to square it out. The Gemara asks, what's the chiddush? It's already square. Why would I think that you must square out a square? How exactly are you going to square out something that's already a square? Says the Gemara, it's not squared to the directions of the world. You put a compass, and you have due north, you have south, you have east, west. Your square is on an angle to those known lines that we have in the world. So, here's your north and south. This is north, this is south. Your square is off. It's off kilter. You would think that you have to spin it around and square it out like the blue line. Nice and fun oilam, with drum oilam. You have to do so, says the Gemara. Now I added these little guys here. Now if you don't know where north is, you don't know where south is. V'simon agolo bat sofoim ba'akrov ba'doroim. So you put it. If you don't know where north is, you just look at the stars. Now, north is Taurus. It's Ego, Calf, Taurus. It looks a little bit similar. You could always look at the, maybe mute that, yeah? So you could always look north and you'll see where those stars are and you know where north is. South is Akrov, known as Scorpion. So you look up to the stars, you see a scorpion, you know that's north, that's south. Now, if you don't know, you're trying to make a city, you don't know how to square it off to those coordinates, Mirabo Kimin Hatkufo. Oh, so we're starting with the fun. Yo, mask on your nose, please. Thank you. You square it to the seasons. The Tkufa. Ketzad. Chamo yoytza b'yoyim oroch b'shekaz b'yoyim oroch zeu pnei tzaf. So, simple idea. We know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. However, it's not a direct line from you. It's not perfectly in the east and perfectly in the west. Sometimes the sun rises northeast, sometimes it rises southeast. So, I took this picture from the Mesivta. It was a black and white picture, but for me, this was the easiest one to explain. This is north, okay? That's how in America we do the map. The top is north. We're actually talking about the east, where the sun rises. This right over here, this red circle is northeast, right? This is north, this is east, so northeast. The Gemara says that sometimes the sun circles around the three walls of the earth. Goes around, goes to the east, to the south, to the west, and then sets over here. So it makes this complete circle, sort of. And at night, it hides and it goes over here. From northwest to northeast. You don't see the sun here. I put it in green, I don't know if you could see it. Green arrows is what we see, and the top is the night. Sometimes, the sun, this is in the summer, a long day, the sun rises and goes around. But in a very short day, the shortest day of the year, it'll rise all the way in the northwest corner, the southeast corner, and travel just one direction of the, oh, what happened there? I guess I didn't print this. Okay, no, what happened, I did on my, but I forgot to print it. There's a line here. This is the line that we're going for, the north line. How do we know how to create a north line to make it square to the world? You follow the sun where it rises and where it sets. You make a line here and a line here, and that's your line. That's your north line from here to here. Okay, forget all this traveling. You just want to see where it rises and where it sets. That's one line. The other line is where it rises in the winter and sets in the winter, and that's the south, the southern line. The kids are, if you don't know where the constellations are, you don't know where Taurus is, you don't know where Akrab is in the sky, just follow the sun, depending where you are, depending on the season of the year. If you're in the summer, so the sun takes this whole trip, and therefore you have a direct line from where it rises to where it sets. Yeah? Understood? It's a simple concept. Northern line, this southern line. Okay. So let's see it inside. On a long day in the summer, and where does it set? That gives you the northern wall. On a short day, the sun rises over here, and it only travels one side of the world. That's your southern wall. Tkuvas Nisan, Tkuvas Tishrei, the seasons in the middle of the year, in between the summer and the winter, Nisan, Tkuvas Tishrei, Chama Yoytze V'Chatzi Mizrach. So the sun will come out over here, instead of over here, instead of over here. Either we're showing the two extremes, northeast and southeast. But sometimes it's in middle, smack in the middle. Okay? It'll go 50% of the world. It goes around and it sets over here in Ma'ariv, in the west. Shneimar hoylech el doroim v'soivev el safai. What? I don't even know what I wrote here. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I know what I wrote here. That we are going to be reading this pasuk tomorrow. Hoylech el doroim, I believe. When do they read Koheles in America? So this is in Koheles. Hoylech el doroim v'soivev el safai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shakol niyeh b'dvaroi.
Tomorrow, and
Afterwards, we'll talk, okay? Y'all, afterwards.
Tomorrow here.
Shinema.
He's asking about
What?
when we read Koheles.
Tomorrow here.
Shinema, hoylech el doroim v'soivev el safai. Hoylech el doroim, says the Gemara, what does that mean? Bayoim. Hoylech means you could see him traveling, you see him walking. You see the sun, when? Bayoim. V'soivev el safai. And it disappears and it goes here. You see Safa and it's dark on top. It's dark. You don't see the sun traveling the northern hemisphere. That's hidden. The soil itself in the soil v'hoylach haruach. Elu pnei mizrach u'pnei marov shepahamim mahalachton u'pe'amim misavavton. Sometimes you see the sun, sometimes you don't see the sun, as we explained before. Omar Mishar Lesnu Lahani Klali. I don't believe in any of these rules. The Sanya Loyotzel Chamim Oilam Mikerim Mizrachas Tzfoinas. It never happened ever that the sun actually rose from the northeastern corner, Vishokab Mikerim Arovas Tzfoinas, and set. Is that the word set? Rise. Okay.
Yeah,
And that it set over here in the northwest corner. Never happened.
Sunset.
And this never happened. The bottom one, where it came out from the southeast corner and set in the southwest corner, that never happened either. So the kids are, you don't have these lines that you're trying to create, that's not going to work. All right.
The lower
Next. So we survived part one of the Ketufos. Now, yo, I know that you want this thing very late, but your mask needs to be on your nose, and we have to be complete quiet during share, okay? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I took him home, maybe 1:30. We finished at 1:15, 1:30. In the morning he's here. Mama's a big tzaddik. But we're all a little antsy. What?
Did you only get the answer to the question?
After I dropped him off, I was like, "Oi, we didn't discuss the question." He's talking about other stuff. Maybe other things were more important. I don't know. Sorry.
We will
But
today on the way home.
He says today, when I drive him home, he'll discuss that question. That's what he just said. Okay. Rabbi said, if a year was 364 days, then we could divide 364 by a week, by 7 days, and then we come up to 52 weeks exactly. The problem is that a solar year has 365 days and 6 hours. Those extra hours, those 30 hours, will cause that every so often we have to add a day in the month every few years. 5.
4 years.
Now, we are talking about the seasons of the world. The seasons. So here's the seasons. Just not to confuse anybody, just a cool picture that we had while we learned the brachos. If you divide the 365 days into 4 equal parts, because the year is 365 and 6 hours, if you divide that by 4, what you come out with is 91 days, 7.5 hours. Okay? We're not going to be discussing anything very deep and anything very difficult to understand. 91 days, 7.5 hours. You have 4 tkufas in the season, right? Now, as a side note, just to explain, when we're learning Birkas Hachama, the sun was created on Wednesday evening. Because of this problem, you have this extra 30 hours, or this extra day and whatever it is, 30 hours. In order to get to, I don't know if I'm saying in the right place here. Let's go weiter, I'll say it in a second. So, 91 days, I wanted to make it short, but I ran out of time, unfortunately. 91 days, 7.5 hours. So, if you just do very simple, you look at a clock. If the world, or if the sun was created at 12 o'clock, noon, so it's not good, the sound? Okay. Then the next cycle is going to be 7.5 hours past that time, right? 1 day later, if the sun was created on a Wednesday night, let's call it 6 p.m. Okay, Wednesday night, 6 p.m. then after the next kufa, the next season, which is 91 days, 7.5 hours, so you're going to be off by one day. It's going to be on Thursday. 7.5 hours. 7.5 hours, so is going to be 1:30, right? You're at 6 o'clock, plus 6 hours. Everybody knows 6 plus 6 is 12, but you're at 7.5 hours. So you're going to be at 1:30 a.m. And then you do 7.5 hours plus 1:30 a.m. is how much? 9 o'clock. Plus 7.5 hours? 4:30. Okay, so let's see in the Gemara. Omar Shmuel, ain't kufas Nisan noifeles. Now the sun was created in Nisan. Nisan. That's the beginning of everything. The sun was created in Nisan. So we're going to start with Nisan. Ain't kufas Nisan noifeles elo ba'arba rivei hayoim. Exactly, very, very simple. Exactly like our clock. 12, 6, 12, 6. Okay, can't get any simpler than that. The first kufa. So Nisan always falls out at one of the 4 points, at 12 p.m., 12 a.m., 6 a.m., or 6 p.m. That's it. So it's beautiful. It's mamish smack in the middle. For those hours, all you need to do is add 7.5 hours for the next cycle, for the next season to happen. Because the tkufa is 91 days, 7.5 hours. So 7.5 hours, forget the 91 days, which comes out on a different day of the week, will be, instead of Wednesday, it'll be Thursday, but Thursday 7.5 hours later than 12 p.m., which is 7:30 p.m., not a big deal.
Isn't this contradictory to Rosh Hashanah?
No, let's not confuse it. We have enough to be confused now. Says the Gemara, Oy b'tchilas hayom, mamish in the beginning of when the sun comes up, 6 a.m., Oy b'chatzi halayla, or at midnight. Oh, sorry, did I skip? Oy b'tchilas hayom, b'tchilas halayla, Oy b'chatzi hayom, Oy b'chatzi halayla. 6, 6, 12, 12. Nu, therefore, ain't kufas tamas noifeles, Oy ba'achas u'mechza. So, if you go 7.5 hours past 6, then the next kufa is going to be at 1:30. Oy b'sheva u'mechza. If you started at 12, this is mamish baby math. Even Panovichers know this. 12 plus 7.5 equals 7.5. It's going to be 7:30. Oy b'sheva u'mechza. Ben bayoim, ben b'laylo. Depending, if you start at 12 a.m., it's going to be 7:30 a.m. If you started at 12 p.m., 7:30 p.m. Ben bayoim, ben b'laylo. Okay, now the next season is 7.5 hours on top of your 7:30 and 1:30, which equals 3 o'clock, or 9 o'clock. Depending on when you started, in the evening or in the day. Now take the final season, same exact thing. You have to add 7.5 hours to 3 o'clock, or 7.5 hours to 9 o'clock. So that comes out to 4:30 and 10:30.
So the first and the third kufa is always at the top of the hour?
Yeah, exactly. First and the third on top of the hour, the other one is in the half hour. Great. Now the Gemara explains, between a season and a season, there's only 91 days, 7.5 hours. Now, we have what we're familiar with even today, and the Gemara was familiar with it. We have Mercury, the Moon, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, and Venus. Those are the mazalos. The mazalos occur every hour. We had it recently. I had a whole chart, how it could only fall out. It's Friday, this, that, fine. Every hour, but every hour on the hour. Therefore, it's possible because your season falls out on the half hour, because it's 7.5 hours, you'll be smack in the middle of a mazel. It won't be in the beginning of the mazel, you'll fall out in the middle of mazel. Sorry. No, not that. The most
you could start into a different mazel is a half hour. V'amar Shmuel, Ein lecha tkufas Nisan shonefels b'tzedek. There's no such thing that Nisan, the season of Nisan, will fall out on Jupiter. If it falls out on Jupiter, it's bad news. She'ena mishaberes esaylonos. There are going to be major storms that are going to break the trees. And if the season of Teves falls out in Jupiter, right? Because every 7 hours you have this. Oh, and that's why, before I forget to say. So what's Birkas Achama? Not to do with our sugya at all. But once we're already here, we might as well mention it. We know that Birkas Achama happens every 28 years. Why? Because for the sun to come back to the exact spot where it was created on Wednesday evening at 6 p.m., let's say, in Tkufas Nisan, will take 28 years to get to that spot. Because you are going to fall out on Thursday and then on Friday, until you get back to Wednesday. But even Wednesday, you're not going to be at 6 p.m., you're going to be at the wrong time. So to get to Wednesday at 6 p.m. takes 28 years. And when it reaches that exact point of Maaseh Bereishis, so we all get together in the morning and we say, Birkas Achama. That's the sugya of Tkufas, but we touched upon it a little bit, so now I just wanted to mention that. Fine. So if you understand Mazolis and how things work, and you know where we are with all the constellations and everything, so you know that if Teves falls out, and we know exactly when that happens, it falls out on the hour of Jupiter, bad news for the farmers. Miyabeshes Ezraim is going to dry out all the seeds. And that's only provided Vudis Yolid Levana Oy Belevana Oy B'Tzedek, that the Kiddush Levana, the moon was born in the Levana, not our moon, but in the mazel of moon, right? Moon is one of the 7 mazalos. So if the Kiddush Levana was born, if the moon was born in the mazel of moon, or in the mazel of Jupiter, and Teves falls out in Jupiter, then you have a really bad combination.
April 8, 2037, next time we're going to say birthday.
2037?
Yeah, April 8.
Okay, so now we are turning April 8th, 2037. How old are you going to be then? We're turning to Daf Nun Vav, Amud Beis, sponsored by Mark Steinberg. Schus for Shidduch for Yitzchak Pesach Yehuda ben Meir Yosef, an anonymous Hatzlacha in Yiddishkeit. He should have Hatzlacha in Yiddishkeit, Omeid. And a schus for his family to be Torah Jews. Okay. Weiter. Tanur Rabbanan. Here we go. So basically we are done with the Tkufas. People get very nervous. Oh, Tkufa seasons. I think it was not bad at all. Now we have a very, very interesting sugya. Hamar Abeya Sa'ir. I know there's a lot of pictures, a lot of stuff, simple stuff.
So can I confuse with another question?
No.
No time.
No time. All questions afterwards. Hamar Abeya Sa'ir. Hamar Abeya Sa'ir. If you take a round city and you square it out, Oisa kimin tavlo merubas. Okay, so what's going on here? The Gemara gives us a very simple way how to take your city and square it out. So here in the city you have a circle. So basically what you do is you add squares, 4 squares, one here, one here, one here, one here. Once you have those squares in place, you add squares to the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. The reason why you do that is because if you don't do it, you'll end up with a completely different measurement if it's not completely square, your city, if it's a rectangle. You want to add the 2,000 Amud Chum on top, 2,000 Amud Chum on the bottom, etc. And then fill in the squares. Now, if you were to take a measuring tape and measure from the corner and go on an angle, the diagonal, 2,000 Amma, Rashi says you're going to lose out because you're going on an angle. So that angle, I drew a line here. I gave myself a lot of these pictures, I added my own lines and stuff. So you see this line over here that I added on top. Your line from the city to this blue line over here is going to be 1,428 Amma. You're really supposed to get 2,000 amas. So what the Gemara is saying, don't measure from this corner to this corner, or 2,000 amas from this corner to this red line right over here. Because what that's going to do is give you this blue line over here, which is only 1428. You want to get to 2,000 amma. So you're supposed to measure from this corner all the way to the tippy top. But that gives you way more than you deserve. That gives you 2,800 ammas. Okay, so you got 2,800 ammas. But there's more that you get for free. There's another freebie. Because you have a circle right over here, you're also getting the squaring out of the circle. This area right over here, this green, you see this green? That equals 400 amma. So you're getting 400 for the green, plus you're getting 800 for the blue. If you're just to go 2,000 amma, but right now you get 3,200 amma. Why? Because the angle, the diagonal of a square is 1.4 of a square, right? In Gemara math, 1.4. So for every 1,000 amma, you get 400 free ammas. But you have 2,000 ammas, so that's 800 amma free. And the corner, the actual corner right over here is 400. Why? Because you're talking again, 2,000 amma, a square. So this corner is 400 amma. Until you first square it out, then you put another square on the side. You're getting a total of 3,200 amma, which is 1,200 freebies. You shouldn't get it. So let's see inside.
Is there a name for that area?
I'm sure in math and all that stuff, yeah. I just don't know the name. In Panovich, they didn't teach me that. Hamra Be'esair. Oisa kim in tavla merubas. You make a square. The chayzer merabes atchumim. And you go back and you square it out, and you fill in the corners and you make it a perfect square. First you put squares here, like we explained, and then 4 in the corner. Now you have perfect square. And when he measures, don't measure the diagonal 2,000 amma. You're not going to have the entire corner. You take a square and you place it in the diagonal, and this square is exactly 2,000 amma by 2,000 amma. It comes out that in the green corners you get another 400 amma. And this guy gets the whole blue. Oy vey, my battery is running low. That means that I'm not plugged in. Why? I don't know. It's not saying. Hold on. Why don't they have a battery? That's the shaila on the Zoom. Hold on. Let me see real quickly. Sorry, guys.
In the right spot?
I have 23 minutes remaining, it says. It is in the right spot. It's just, maybe it's pulling. Yeah, well, hopefully we finish. No idea. Are you sure that the screen is not in the YouTube? The screen?
No, it's not.
Okay. YouTube is clear, thank you. All right. Fine. Weiter gegangen. So we have 800 in the blue corner, 400 in the green corner. Says the Gemara, Nimtzu v'tchum mistakrim 1,200 lekan v'1,200 lekan. 800 plus 400 is 1,200. You gain extra 1,200 amma. Instead of 2,000 amma, you gain 3,200 amma. If you're going to count it from the circle till the furthest point on a diagonal, you get 3,200 amma. Omar Abaya. This idea that you get 400 plus 800 only happens, says Abaya, in one case. And we're going to see that, in fact, there's another case. This could happen when the city is exactly 2,000 amma by 2,000 amma. Okay. Omar Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Yosi. We're going to explain this that statement that he said. Omar, we just did. We have 2,000 by 2,000, so you get 400 plus 800. Now, says the Gemara. Omar Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Yosi. And this is going to take us to the bottom of the Amud, where we're going to stop a couple lines short, 3 lines short of the bottom for today. Tchum Ore Leviim Alpayim Amma. We know, and we had it just recently, that the city of the Leviim gets 2,000 Amma on all sides. The first 1,000 Amma, depicted in red line or yellow, is fallow. You can't plant anything there. And this guy on the outside, 1,000 amma, that's where you plant your vineyards, your trees, etc. They did it. They made it green, I believe. Yeah. I didn't do it. I didn't like the yellow. I didn't think the yellow was, you were able to see, so I added red to the yellow. Okay? There's an inner and an outer circle. But here's the trick. And this is what throws us off. Nimtza. So stop. How much area is this 1,000 amma compared to everything else? The Gemara says it's a quarter. It's 25%. Nimtza migrash revia. This inner strip, 1,000 amma, depicted by the red line to the city, is 25% v'hashar sodei sukramim. And everything else, 75%. Now I understand that the outer band is larger than the inner band. It takes up more space. But to say that's 25%, that doesn't make sense. How do we know the idea that's 1,000 and 1,000? Omar Ravid Omar Kro Mikiro Ir V'chutza Elef Amma Saviv. Omar Toiro Sabev Esoir Be'elef. The city should be a buffer of 1,000. V'nimtza migrash revia. So therefore, the inner buffer is 25% of everything. Ask the Gemara, revia palgahave. Revia palgahave. It's half. Well, the Gemara understands it's not half. But the Gemara doesn't want to mess around with too many cheshbainas and the corners, and you're adding this and this. Let's do some easy math here. It's similar to a half. Why are you telling me it's a 25%? Everybody knows it's not 25%. So we have to get to 25%. We have to understand a 25%. How do you get to 25%? Omar Rava, I'll explain to you. Bar Ado, a person by the name of Bar Ado, Moshe Choya, he used to be, what do they call it in English? A guy that takes measurements on the ground, a surveyor. Here's a surveyor. And he explained it to me. He was not Stam a surveyor, Talmud Chacham surveyor. Mishkachas lo b'mosad dahavi trei alpha. If it's exactly a city that's 2,000 by 2,000, now, very simple, Rabbi Isai. I like this picture the most. This was from the Mesifta, from the Oiz V'Hadar, not the Mesifta. If you have a city that's 2,000 by 2,000, I just took the liberty to make a blue line in the middle. I'll explain to you soon why. Your tchum is 1 box, 2 box, 4 boxes, and we fill up the corner with the red. Your tchum is the brown, 2,000 by 2,000. We said to put a box here, box here, box here, and then we fill in the corners. Now, every box of 2,000 amma can be divided into 4 boxes. So how many boxes do we have total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 4 equals 32 boxes. Right? We have 4 reds, 4 browns, that's 8. Times each box, we're going to make it into 1,000 by 1,000 amma. Each box is going to be 4 boxes, so we have a total of 42 boxes. Okay. Now, next step. Tchum kamahavya, shitzar. How many boxes are in the tchum? Well, the tchum is the brown. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 4, 16 boxes. Shitzar, 16. Kronis Kamahavion, now the red, also 4 boxes, also 16. Kamahavi Shitzar. Dal Tmanyo the tchumim varbo the kronis. Now take off 8 for the tchum, because how many brown boxes are next to the city? 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. That's the tchum. How many boxes are touching, how many corners are touching the city? How many red boxes are touching the city? 4. So 4 plus 8. How many brown boxes are touching the city? 2, 4, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. For a total of 12. Oh, so 12. How much is 12 in 32? Doesn't add up to a quarter. It adds up to maybe a third. Dal tmani de tchumin varba de kronis kama tresar. You have 12. Nimsa migrash revia. So now we find that this buffer is a quarter. Revia. It's more than a third. How can it be a quarter? Says the Gemara, I see arba the muscle shadalayu. Don't lean on the table, yo. So you have to add the 4 boxes from the center. The 4 in the center give us 36 boxes. So 36 divided by 4 is not 12. 12 is again literally a third, not a quarter. Akati tiltahavi. Says the Gemara, you learned the wrong pshat. Misavers biribu kamar. We're not talking about a square. Biigula kamar. We're talking about a circle. Right? The whole sugi was a circle. You have to square out a circle. Uh-oh. I lost them.
Zoom?
Yeah, I lost Zoom. I think so.
Why?
What happened to the...
Why?
Okay. No.
Okay, they'll go to YouTube.
Hold on here. So you three.
Oh, that's a good idea. Here, just stand. Yeah. It's literally a minute.
Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Unmute yourself.
You guys hear me?
We're just waiting a second. Rabbi's on YouTube. I'm sorry. We're just trying to get the Zoom. The Zoom died on us. The electric in America is not very geschmack. I don't know why. Okay.
You guys hear me? Nobody hears me. It's fine.
I gotta continue.
Give it a second until... What's going on? How come they don't hear you?
Hello? Oh,
They hear you?
I hear you. You guys hear me? Hello?
Hold on. We're going to get Rabbi Twersky to do it.
Hello? Okay.
Okay. So Rabbi say, no, just stand back a little bit because you're not wearing a mask. No, stand over there. That's okay.
I'll leave it here. So.
No, you can't leave it. Hold it for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Just mamish 1 minute. Give it to Yosef. Let Yosef do it. Shkoyach. All right. Rabbi say we're not talking about a square. We're talking about a circle. And the Gemara is telling us that the inner buffer for the Levim is going to remain a circle. We're not going to square it out. If the Levim have a circular city, then the inner buffer, this is going to be the inner buffer, this blue line. Everything within the blue line is the inner buffer. Now, because it's a circle,
You have the corners.
forget, there's no corners now. We're not talking about corners anymore. We're talking about just circle. We're not going to square it out. We're talking about a circle. Misaris biribu kamar. We're not talking about a square. Bigula kamar. A 2,000 amma city, that's a circle. In other words, the diameter is 2,000 amma, but it's a circle. But if it was a square, how much larger would a square be than a circle? We already did the math in a square. But we're 25% less area on a circle than we are on a square. And therefore, Kama Meruba Yosar Le'igol Revia, you're 25% less now, because a square is 25% more than a circle in Gemara math. Dal Revia Minayu, so take off 25%. Pashul Tisha, right? Because look, Rabbi Yisai, we said before that we have 12 squares. We have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 squares fit into this blue 2 lines, this area that surrounds the city. That's 12. But if you need to take off 25% of 12, you're left with 9. So now we're dealing with 9 squares. Why 9? Because you don't have the corners. You're in a circle. You're this instead of this. Memela, you're dealing with 9 squares. 9 squares into 36 is how much? 25%. That's how we get to 25%. That's why we're saying that the Levium's buffer is 25% of the total area. Dal Revium Enayu, Pashlu Tisha, you remain with 9. Vitisha Mitlasim Veshita, and 9 out of 36. Rivahavi, that's how you get to a quarter. Rabbi Sai, it wasn't that difficult. They gave this daf a bad name. Even Rav Menachem Mateh wrote me a message. He was trying to be funny. He said, I'm leaving the tkufas and all that stuff to you. I'm not going to give a shir, but it's simple stuff. Ma'am is simple. Rabbi Say here in Chicago, have a wonderful Yantav in Eretz Yisrael. Have a good Moed. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Seid gesund.
Hello.
Shut
Hello.
A little bit.
So we don't have